Today we're going to take a look at how to create a simple invoice in the Connect Designer module. That is to say, we're going to create an invoice that has one or more pages where each of those pages can have different headers and footers. Because let's face it, most of our customers do invoices with our software and do it for the print output, even though some of you are doing email and web, which we'll explore in other videos, of course. But right now, we want to take a look at the invoice, kind of the number one question. How do I do different headers and footers? And we're going to do that. So let me start by opening just a basic invoice data mapping configuration. And then I'm just going to create a brand new blank print template with nothing changed, just basic letter, because it doesn't matter. Like if you had a legal size document, you'd do legal, and you'd have different size backgrounds or images or PDFs to put in there. But the concept is the same for everyone. In my case, I have 3 different images here, and these images are one full page background, one for the header and one for the footer, and we're going to use that either or depending on the position that we're in. And the way that the various positions work inside of Connect is through the use of master pages. A master page is essentially a one page that goes in the background of your main text flow, which is the print content. You can have more than one master page with different static and variable elements, and you can control which master page is used where by going in the sheet configuration. And the sheet configuration here by default will have the same master page for all the different positions. But if I uncheck that, we can see the power that we have, which is for each position, single sheet, meaning there's no overflow. And then during overflow, the first, middle, and last sheets, we can have different master pages. We can also have different media, so a different page color or page type or weight inside of your printer. And you can also tell it to allow content on either just the front, just the back, or both, if you're doing duplex. So this dialog is a pretty interesting one. We'll get back to it in a second, but right now what we want to do is to go and create the master pages. So the first one that we'll do is the single master page. And I'm just going to add the background page to it. And the background page, so the full size one. And all I need to do is to tell it to be at the 00 coordinates. So it's going to be at the top left of the page. And then it's already the right size, but let's say it was bigger. So if you have a PDF that's much larger than this size, you could simply set it to 100% width, and it'll adjust the height automatically. Don't worry about it. And this gives me a background. If I go back to the print section, it is right here. So when I put in text flow, let's say I created more than one page. So lots of pages, lots of lines. Okay, so now we see that it did create a second page, and that second page has the same background. So this is for use of the single master page. Now, you might notice that my text is on top of the header, and it's also actually technically in front of the footer here. So what I want to do is to adjust the various margins, so the top and bottom header and footer margins. And by default, they're 10 millimeters, so I think if I do 50 and 50, this will change, and you can see that our main text flow, so it's a little too big here. Let me just readjust it. That's what happens when you do things live. A little better here. Okay. So the purple margins inside of my text flow show that the text, the main text, so any detailed table, any paragraphs, any images that you put inside of the main text flow will not go over that header or that footer. Okay, and now let's make the other master pages, which would be the first page, where I will have that same header, but I'll have a smaller footer. Because what I want to do on that first page is I'm going to want to add the header. Oh, wait, actually, it's already in here. I want to add the header right here, which I'm going to put at 0 and 0. And that's going to be right here. And I'm not going to add a footer at the moment. Like, you could have the pagination at the bottom, or just a line, or continued on the next page, or whatever, right here. And then if I go back to my sheet configuration and I tell it that my front, my master page front is going to be first, then going back to the section, I can see that my first page is indeed the one that has a header and no footer, and the other one is still using the other one. So back to the master pages, I do exactly the same thing for the middle pages. And now that we have this middle page, then again, we could have pagination on the top and something at the bottom, like a small footer that says continue on next page. And we will put a last master page, which will have a bigger footer, which I believe was about 30 millimeters. And because we are at the bottom and not the top, I'm just going to add a position box here that I can put anywhere, put the footer in there, and just move it down right here. There is a better way to do this, but for the purpose of this demonstration, we take small shortcuts. So now when I come back to my section, and I go back to the sheet configuration, our single master page, or our single page documents will use the single one, and then we'll use first, middle, and last. Now, of course, if your document only has 2 pages, it's going to use the first and then the last. It's going to ignore the middle. And if your document has more than 3 pages, it's going to be first, middle, 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 last. So back to the document, if I create another page, I force another page to be created again. Come on, you can do it. Now I'm going to have these 3 pages, which is first, middle, and last. So I'm going to delete everything here, and I'm just going to add a couple of static elements just to show you what it looks like in a real implementation. So columns are going to have 2 here and 1 body row, just to put some standard elements in here in my table. So you know how this goes. Let me just fill this up for a second. I'll be right back. Okay, so I have a bit of header information, and then I can add the detail table, details, like this. Select all of them just to show you. Item total, next, shading. And when I go into preview mode, then this works as expected. So we have the table with the subtotal and the transport line using, in this case, the first and last master page. And if I have some with less details, such as this one, it's going to use the single. And this concludes today's Connect with Evie. I hope you learned something new today. If you have any questions, comments, or anything you'd like to hear about, please don't hesitate to sound off in the comments below. Thumbs up if you like the video, subscribe if you want to be aware of any new videos that come out. And as always, see you in a few clicks.